Yeah, all right, guys. Thanks for joining. Okay, so myself, Bhimanna Kamara, and I have 15 plus years of experience as a IT industry, and just working, last 6 years as a cloud database consultant and a DBA. Okay, so we just delivered around 15 to 20 migration projects of multiple clients and the customers. Okay, so as part of this, Azure SQL DBA training, we are gonna cover completely end-to-end project deliverable things. In fact, discovery and assessment, plan, best practices, different approaches in the migration plans as well. We're gonna do end-to-end implementations. Apart from that, those who are already having existing experience, cloud landscape in AWS GCP, and who are having, developing developer experience and DBS on-premises working guys also, they can able to leverage and enhance the skills. Okay, so this is basically we can able to have complete if you get any new project, you can individually can able to contribute and work in this database administrator in this new projects. Okay, so coming to this, my profile. Okay, so I have certified DP 300 and 70473 and the Google certified. Okay, so and so coming to this, infrastructure related. Okay, so if you can go for the course content related stuff, which I already have a link. Okay, so basically we are going to start uh, basic fundamentals onwards. Why? Because in the module one. Okay, so we are going to discuss what is the cloud computing and where it is got started. So what is the current trend, futures, and cloud vendors, public cloud vendors. Okay, so not only for the Azure, AWS, GCP, we do have Salesforce, Alibaba, a lot more public cloud vendors is there. So what is the current futures of the trend supporting of their end? Okay, so how it is going to help us to understand across the platform. The module one is going to help to understand the cloud technology. Okay, so then after that we'll go and discuss about module two. It is basically uh, Azure related module. So when it is got started, so what is the current services, uh, what is the Azure certification path we are going to covering over here. Okay, so how the global infrastructure is defined across the world in a Microsoft. Okay, so what is the complete total regions and how many data centers? Okay, so how we are going to performance prospect of as a database guy. So you just need to have some sort of advisory kind of thing. So that it is going to depending. So module two, including this, subscription free trial we have. So how we are going to take that free trial subscription, and within the 30 days or 1300 INR or else 200 USD. Okay, so how we are going to utilize that effectively, that we are going to do. And also we are going to give some sort of management tools apart from this, GA tool. Okay, so we are going to cover some management tool. Okay, let's say you are familiar with this, shell command, SDK command, Azure SDK also we can able to do. Okay, so most of the cases, those who are architect level, admin level, those guys will go and perform this, portal level and all. And sometimes the DevOps team is going to have some sort of access on this portal. But when you come into this, team by team, they're not going to give completely access on that. So depend upon the team, they're going to give the access by using of the GUI or SDK or the command shell also. That we are going to discuss, including PowerShell and command shell, SDK and all. Uh, the Azure terminologies, since we are going to uh, uh, cover this complete database related stuff. You do have the portal related, whatever the services, what are the terminologies, where we are going to, let's say in this left side panel we have the resource group. So what is the resource group and where it is going to use in a business perspective, where it is going to help us to understand. Okay, so resource group it is going to help. So that we, that type of terminologies we are going to do. There is a load balancer, storage component, a monitor, advisory services. So these components we are going to discuss in details. Okay, apart from that, uh, resource group, resource lock, and Azure resources, so that we are going to do. In a module 3, basically we are going to discuss, what is the dependency of the virtual machines as part of, as a you are a Azure SQL database administration, you are going to perform it. So since you are in a database guy, but you would have to know some dependencies and requirement Azure virtual machines as well. That's what we are going to cover completely, infrastructure related as well. So it will not work, you are only DBA, you are going to work the DB related tasks, that it is not going to work in a cloud. You would have to know some interlink and interrelated services as well in the cloud. Okay, not only for the Azure, all the cloud vendors. Okay, that it is going to cover. So how we are going to deploy, what is the SQL installation process in a cloud. Okay, so if you have your own licensing factor, how we are going to use that one. So that things we are going to do, including the best practice if you are efficiently use for the virtual machines. So then after that, the storage component. So storage component is basically Azure storage for the Azure SQL. So when you are going to do some sort of migrations and the storing the data, terabytes data, if you want to store somewhere, we are going to on premises, there is a storage concept we have there, we are going to use for the storage related stuff. But when you go for the cloud landscape, the Azure storage is one of the best suit for storing your data in a terabytes. So as a database guy, what is the limitations where we are going to store our data? So which services is going to suit? Actually in Azure storage we have four components: queue, table, file, blob storage. But which one it is going to opt for the SQL standpoint, for that we are going to utilize and the leverage, and we're going to detailed discussion it is going to happen. But when you're doing migrations, native migrations or whatever, uh, let's say you are using for the online migration, offline migrations. Okay, apart from that, the traditional method when you're going to do the migration process, so the Azure storage is going to plays very vital role here. So that's what we are going to cover in details, and the dependency features, the key features, and storage related component we are going to discuss. Okay, so the module 5. Okay, so basically as a database administration guy, you would have to know some network related stuff as well. So that in basic level to advanced thing we are going to do. Why? Because typically you have a services cloud. Okay, you are going to connecting, so it is not going to connect it. You would have to understand backend, how it is going to interlink with the network services, right? Something you would have to take. On premises, typically what we will do, we'll take the RTP, or we will ping these parameters and we'll test the network connectivity, something like. So the minimum basic thing we are going to do. But here you would have to know some advanced level, a little bit of advanced level in addition to that. So that's what the network component, how it is going to interlink, and what is the dependency factor of this Azure SQL. That concept we are going to discussing completely here in the module 5 basically. Okay, so in a module 6, actually it is going to actual database related stuff it is going to start. Okay, so the basic level of Azure SQL and Azure SQL managed instance, the authentication methodology, SQL authentication, Windows authentication, and Azure AD authentication, how we are going to integrate that related stuff we are going to cover in details here. Okay, so and including of after completing of this session, what exactly you're going to gain the knowledge and the experience as a real-time perspective, that thing we're going to do. Apart from that, best practice related stuff also we're going to do in this aspect. Okay, so that is the main factor over here. And then we do have module 7. Okay, so the connectivity standpoint. So let's say your service is running into the cloud. Okay, so from cloud, how we are going to connect from the on-premises. Okay, so what is the deployment security appliance it is going to happen to open? What are the kind of ports need to open? So network people will be available, but part of the connectivity as a SQL admin and you guys, we know the pretty much aware of the 1433. So in the cloud, not only 1433, we do have 3342 and 5022. This port is as and when you are going to connect in the multiple sources, right? Let's say you are connecting from the your on-premises VM, or else within the cloud you are want to connect from the Azure VM. So see, as I said, see, if you are going to take the first part of the virtual machines within the cloud, you are trying to connect the Azure SQL from the virtual machine, so that it is going to help to understand, there is interlink in this one, the connectivity part in the module 1. Okay, so how we are going to use for the ARM template. Okay, so deploying methods. Okay, so not only for the geo method, and we do have ARM templates methodology. Okay, so that is a JSON template. It's very easy. Okay, so you just need to export the code within the portal, and you can able to use in a multiple time to deploy in a parallel VMs. Okay, so that is a one factor we are going to discuss. And also there is a service TS, elasticity, cost optimization. So how we are going to measure, if you want to migrate, so on-premises to cloud landscape, what is the existing ideal configuration and target recommendation? So just take an example. You have in a VM and 20 cores and 250 GB RAM, and we do have 1 terabyte database. Okay, so and 1 terabyte of storage. So ideally you are utilizing only 500 GB. That configuration is not required. So everything is it is chargeable into the cloud landscape. So in that aspect, what is the current ideal configuration? What is target environment recommendation that we are going to measure, and accordingly we are going to suggest, including the cost related. So the sizing tiers, how we are going to measure for the DTU calculator as well. So what is the vCore based purchasing model for the Azure SQL and Azure SQL MI? And if you are going to existing licensing with bring your own license, let's say most of the clients they may have the existing license with there. Okay, so so that licensing, how we are going to avail for this pass model. Okay, so in the hypercare services, so what is the best use case we are going to utilize that hypercare? And the integrations, how we are going to enable. So this module, it is going to give this complete a sizing tier, service tiers, and cost optimization in the pass model perspective. Okay, so after the completion of this module, what exactly you're going to do real-time base, that are going to enhance your skills. And the best practice part of this module, so in see, there is a multiple scenarios to capturing. Okay, initially we have as per my knowledge, in a native method, we can take the scripts and execute and take the output and consolidate and give it. The other aspect is we have a map tool, Microsoft assessment and planning tool. This tool is going to give complete your source environment scanning, and it will give the configuration part. Okay, then after that we do have DMA tool, so data migration assistant tool. So this tool, it is going to capture and assess and give the recommendation or data duplicated or any dependency if you want to modify. So how you need to modify that, it is going to give us. Then after that we do have DMS tool also migration. Now the data studio, it is merged with the DMS tool. So now it is going to give the complete assessment and the migration as well. So that is the one addition. The most important thing is inbuilt feature Microsoft is giving. So these tools, Azure Migrate Services, this tool is going to give for the migration aspect, not only for the database VM migrations as well as the application migrations and the If you want to migrate from any other cloud vendors, from Google Cloud or AWS, and also it is going to give some assessment and discovery as well as the recommendation. Okay, so even you can able to do for online migration, offline migration as well. Then after that, the data resiliency or monitoring and backup recovery, it's a part of, it's like uh, availability disaster recovery kind of thing. Okay, so if you are using for the infrastructure as service, so what are the aspect we are going to do in a database, and okay, so how capable enough to restoring the point in time restoring into this Azure end. So these things we are going to cover into the module 9, and the firewall implementation, failover failback activity. If you are using some sort of cluster information, that also we are going to do. Okay, so that is the one thing we can do it. Just 1 minute. Thanks for being on hold. And related to this module number 9, basically what we discussed is earlier. So it is, past module, how it is capable enough of, creating of disaster recovery points, and, failure, always on availability kind of failure cluster, how we are going to implement. So that it is going to give us, okay, so let's say there's, geo replication as well as, failover failback activity, geo replication, the failover failback activities. This kind of activities we will do. It's a kind of high availability concept. Okay, so and the disaster recovery point of which business use case it is going to help us to know active geo replication and all we are going to cover, and we will you know have some sort of real-time use cases we are going to implement. So this is all about module number 9. And coming to this Azure SQL resilience in the migration HADR implementation. So as I said, we will going to cover that Azure migrate, and using of SSMS also we are going to use for the migration. This many tools we are going to use during the migration. Okay, so if you don't, without using of these tools, although directly you can able to migrate. Okay, so and the latest Azure Data Studio, how it is going to help us to assessment and migration part also we can do. Azure link services to directly you can able to migrate. So this there is a lot more features and option to migrate this Azure SQL. This module 10 it is going to complete end-to-end migration module we are going to cover. And the monitoring aspect of, okay, let's say the performance related and a health report, how we are going to take the Azure SQL and Azure SQL database, where we need to configure this monitoring aspect. That thing we are going to do in a complete module number 11. And module number 2 is Arctic mm, uh, use cases we are going to implement completely the cost optimization, how the startup is going to implement. Let's say you will get in one project. Okay, so there how we are going to take the consideration of all the resources to compiling of design some sort of um, architectures stencils that we are going to understand and create, and part of based upon that architect design we are going to do some step-by-step process of the all the resources, not only the database, including all the networking storage and all. So this is all about course content, so which we required around 20 days of time, and we have 1 to 1.5 hour every day, and 7 a.m. is regular time, 7 a.m. to 8:30 every day we are going to do. Okay, so that is actually timings and all. So let's have demo kind of thing. Okay, so we do have some sort of information we can just remember. Okay, so this is all about why we should go for the Microsoft Azure. Basically, across the world, as of now, we have in 160 data centers in the 60 regions worldwide. Even in fact, India also we have, 3 regions of Microsoft Azure services available. Okay, so that's what. So every customer, since the Microsoft product is, using, log back all the, existing customers, including the licensing and also moving from AWS or GCP also, they are moving to the SQL products, or if they are going to use, so they'll move forward to this Azure because of licensing and the security and the data centers availability and all. Okay, so the just having a glance of information, the first and foremost in AWS got started initially. Okay, so now it is still market leader, and the GCP and Azure is little bit more or less services, but in a market standpoint of second position Azure, and the Google is third. But growth rates prospect of reversal point. Okay, so this is rapidly increasing the Google services, and Azure is more or less Google, but the growth risk prospect of AWS is not that much of thing because of services and security and the faster. Okay, so that's what these two services moving, mm, gaining the market business very rapidly. Okay, so we do have deployment models. Not only this is for Azure, okay, across all the cloud vendors like Azure, GCP, AWS, Alibaba, Salesforce, IBM Cloud, whoever the cloud vendors is there, the cloud vendors is going to utilize for the service models and the deployment models. We have an infrastructure as a service and platform as a service and the software as a service. We do have public cloud, private cloud. Okay, so community cloud and a hybrid cloud. Okay, so what exactly the public cloud, private cloud, and the community cloud will discuss line by line. And the market share, 2022. Okay, so we can see this in a current trending market how it is going to happening. And here is why multiple cloud vendors is there. Why we should go for the Azure, because of the past capabilities comparing to other cloud vendors. Microsoft is going to give us um, a lot more past capabilities. Let's say the Azure SQL, Azure SQL managed instance. This kind of features and flexibility and the compatibility you can nowhere finding into the other cloud vendors. That's what it is. More emphasizing part to client the customers moving for the SQL product to the Azure. But rest of the products is different. Okay, they may go for AWS or GCP, but and the .NET compatibility and hybrid connectivity. We can connect from the cloud to cloud and on-premises to cloud. That compatibility feature we have. So enterprise agreement related stuff. So as I said, initial demo session. Okay, basically, if you have the existing licensing, you can avail that feature. Okay, normally if you have that, existing license will get 70 to 80% of the discount will get. So that is so customer prospect of it is very good. And apart from that learning curve, okay, so Microsoft is going to give us in a lot of documentation, forums, public forums, LinkedIn's, separate tutorials we have. Microsoft officially it is going to give us. So that's what everybody easy to learn. And if they are going to stuck somewhere, so we'll get some lot of documents and references, blogs, Microsoft websites also will get entire end-to-end implementation information in the document. So that's what everybody looking forward, Azure SQL. Okay, so as I said just before, we have three service offering. One is for the infrastructure as a service, and the platform as a service, and the software as a service. Okay, so this is our traditional on-premises environment. Let's say the networking, storage, services, virtualization. So each and every layer, 9 layers, we have an individual team, business unit. Okay, so they're going to maintain some administration task overhead, and managing the people, collaborating, infrastructure. It's a very difficult. Okay, so when you are moving to the cloud, we have three services for all the cloud vendors. Okay, so in the infrastructure as a service, what it is going to happen, out of these 9 layers, we have 4 layers is cloud vendor it is going to maintain. Means networking, storage, services, virtualization. So you will get in a flexibility which OS you want. You can install your OS, middleware, runtime, data application. So you have some flexibility under control of your server. Okay, but underlying hardware components and the network services and all, Microsoft Azure is going to maintain and manage. You don't have any control. But on top of it, the data application, the OS and all, you have some control on this. Okay, so the platform as a service is a second offering. Okay, so in this 9 layers, completely 7 layers it is going to maintain. Okay, including the OS, middleware, runtime, and the okay. So only you have to focus on your application and the data. Okay, if you have the backup file, just come into the restore it here. You will use the services. You don't need to bother about the database. Uh, Server to implement OS installation, backup. So this many monitoring, security patching, compliance related. You don't need to bother about that thing. It is going to maintain and manage with the cloud vendor. So you just focus on your application and data. Okay, and here we will comes into the Azure SQL and Azure SQL managed instance. Here it will comes into the Azure SQL Server and Azure VM into the infrastructure as service. It's a best example. So software as a service, it is an end product like Google Drive. Okay, so Office 365 kind of thing. But in fact, we don't have any options to database, and but other service in the future we can able to integrate the things here. Okay, so that's what it is. So now coming to this. the map tool which I said. Okay, so in the discovery part, in the traditional method, we can use for the map tool to discover in the source environment, get it done and consolidate and give the report. Okay, so as I said, we have the multiple tools you can utilize, the DMA and the DTU calculator, the pricing calculator. Based upon that, you can able to take the which one is the best one, and the cost comparison also we can able to analyze and give the customer to the initial recommendation to, so that customer it is going to choose which one is the best suit to them as per their environment, a cost perspective, administration standpoint of. Okay, so that is all about DMA output tool and all. Okay, so we, as I said, we have Azure IaaS in the PaaS module. So it will come SQL Server IaaS VM into the infrastructure as service, and the PaaS modules is Azure SQL database, Azure SQL managed instance. So the differentiation is basically you have control on your database and the servers and all, including OS. You can implement HA features and all, but PaaS model, you don't need to implement manually HADR and all. Just we need to enable the feature. We'll get it done. It is make arrange for you to the feature prospector. So which one is the best? Okay, it's all about features and the supporting model and all. Based upon we have to choose. Okay, let's say sometimes your business use case fit for Azure SQL, and sometime it is going to fit for the Azure SQL managed instance. Okay, so it is based upon your business case and your requirement, you would have to suggest and all. So the migration aspect of, as I said, we have different tools to migrate DMS and backpack, these tools we have. Based upon that tools we can able to utilize, and you can able to configure the always on availability and on-premises to cloud, or else if you have different cloud also, we can do the migrations with the backpack and the DMS services, Azure migrate this many feature we can able to use. But the Azure site recovery, existing servers to move as is into the, it will earlier we are going to use, but now we have an Azure migrate in place of Azure site recovery. Azure migrate is going to help us to migrate the services and the all. Okay, so this is all about, okay, so coming to this portal aspect. Okay, so we do have some sort of migration things, and as I said, the pass module options, we have multiple pass module options we have. um, Here is a single database, elastic pool, managed instance. So some slides we can how we are going to connectivity migration activities. We'll do implementation. These slides to module number 11. Okay, so this is all about migration, offline, online migration. How we are going to do. So these are the stencil that we are going to implement during this one. Okay, so I'm going to stop this recording. Okay, so have any questions, let me know. I think you can able to find course content and the course related stuff. Okay, so you can join next 3 classes free if you are willing, and post that it is going to charge 10K. Okay, so 10,000 INR. Okay, so 20 days is just for schedule. It may be extend maybe 1 week because of this high availability and all. Based upon your interest and all, we will have some sort of real-time use cases and all. Okay, so that we will go deliver. Okay, so only for your dedication is required here. Okay, so that it is going to help you to understand and make it real-time scenarios and all. Any question, anyone? Your voice is not audible clearly. Can you repeat once again? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Tushar, please go ahead.
No, sir. No any question is there right now.
Okay, cool then. Okay, so if you have any questions, please reach out in WhatsApp. Okay, so tomorrow also we have the same session and the same time for the first module. Okay, so we'll discuss the first module step by step process, and next two classes. Post that they can confirm to I'm going to give the new meeting link. There you can able to join. That's it all about Azure SQL DBA. Okay, so we'll catch on tomorrow. Thanks for joining. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.